This idiot says they're not occupiers in Israel, Palestine, Holy Land. I'm going to refrain from calling you a and instead of calling you a let me go ahead and just explain to you why you're so dead wrong. According to international law, what the Israelis are doing in the West Bank and Gaza is the textbook definition of occupation. You have a group of people that are segregated, that have no civilian rights, can't vote, can't leave the strip, they're treated as second-class citizens, their food, their water, their electricity, all of it is controlled by the Israelis. So we're talking about millions of people that have absolutely no representation within the government that oppresses them. That is the textbook definition of occupation, you I'm going to give you one chance to respond to this because you're an idiot. Let's get into Davos. Okay, as you guys know, Donald Trump is in Europe for a conference, and he was there handling a couple different things, giving speeches, talking about the Board of Peace for the transition period for the Palestinians. Okay, so that's what was going on here.
The president also did make the statement, the UN has tremendous potential, but hasn't used it. And then President Trump went on to say that this organization, the Board of Peace, could be one of the most consequential organizations ever. Do you agree with that?
Look, it's early days. I'm going to agree with the gentleman that was just on before me here. It is so early. They've picked a first Gordian knot to try to untie as their major project, and that's Gaza. And no one has succeeded in Gaza. The president has gone a lot further than I think anybody ever expected him to. But then what do we do from there? And, I've heard the stories that, they could try to tackle some of the other foreign policy challenges around the globe, maybe even the Russia-Ukraine conflict. That wouldn't be easy either. But this is, admittedly, a president that doesn't shy away from some of these tough challenges. If he is able to wield this group of people and we keep watching them come up and sign, it's a pretty impressive stream of world leaders right now. If he gets all of them to actually pitch in and help, as opposed to standing by and doing nothing at the UN, well, then, yeah, this could be a consequential body. But just remember, there's some tough challenges in front of us to begin with.
Yeah, it's clear that the president is in his element here. And before he arrived at Davos, the word was that he wanted to bring bravado to this summit, and he had the largest coalition of Americans and cabinet members to join him, and that is clearly on full display right now. And Jonathan, you're right that the first order of business, we are in early day here, and the first order of business for this board is to get a transitional government in place in Gaza.
Now, the reason why this is a little bit difficult, guys, is because the Israelis want Hamas to disarm. And for obvious reasons, Hamas doesn't want to disarm. This is the same exact reason why Israel's also having problems with Lebanon, because Hezbollah refuses to disarm, even though the Syrian government is trying to get them to disarm, because Hezbollah is a paramilitary group that operates within Lebanon, has an enormous amount of influence and power, but they're not really official state actors, right? So we got the problem with Hezbollah not wanting to disarm and Hamas not wanting to disarm. But the thing you guys got to understand is that the reason why they don't want to disarm is because the Israelis can't be trusted, right? These Israelis have been literally bombing and killing these people for so long, right? And for all the haters out there, let me be explicitly clear about this. And this is what Western media is not going to tell you guys, all right? Back in 2018, there was something called the Great Wall March, where Palestinians from Gaza were protesting and walking along the borderline, like the divider between Israel and Gaza. And it was a protest to, end the occupation, the fact that they're not being treated fairly, etc. So the Israeli government retaliated by shooting at protesters. They killed hundreds, if not thousands of people, shooting testicles off, shooting his arms off, shooting children, right? Now, this obviously didn't hit the mainstream news because back in 2018, we know who was running shit. So all of this shit is starting to come to light now. Now that we can finally talk about this topic, now people are finding out why October 7th happened. Now they're finding out why Yahya Sinwar planned the October 7th attacks. Now they're figuring out that Israel's been illegally occupying a group of people, millions of people, for decades. Now they find out that Israelis kill Palestinians with no regard for human life. This is a topic that was so banned and censored. I remember if you had shown like a house getting bulldozed in Israel, like on the West Bank, you would get banned for that shit. Chad, I am not kidding around. In the West Bank, as they're expanding these settlements, these illegal settlements, by the way. Prior to October 2023, October 7th, 2023, if you showed images of Palestinian homes getting bulldozed by Israeli construction companies, if you showed that, there was a high likelihood you would get banned, bro.
Bombakat!
This topic was absolutely off limits, dude. Off limits. And I really want to bring attention to that. Okay, you know what? It's time to cook somebody, bro. Hey, this idiot in the Rumble chat. Illy Desky, whatever your name is. Idiot says, Myron lives in his own Jihadi Muslim Brotherhood fantasy, world worse than ever, your ordinary generic Muslim. Okay, buddy, how about you describe to me how I'm wrong? How about that one? Don't say dumb ad-libs. Explain to me how I'm wrong. You got the floor. You got the floor. It's been a while since I whooped one of y'all niggas in the chat. So daddy's got to bring the belt back out again. You have 20 seconds to respond. Let's see what you got to say now. You're getting called out. Explain to me how I'm wrong. This idiot says, Myron lives in his own Jihadi Brotherhood fantasy, world worse than ever, your ordinary generic Muslim. Number one, that doesn't make sense. But let's go. Explain to me how I'm wrong. Okay. They're not occupiers in Israel, Palestine, Holy Land. They're not occupiers? I'm going to refrain from calling you a and instead of calling you a let me go ahead and just explain to you why you're so dead wrong. According to international law, what the Israelis are doing in the West Bank and Gaza is the textbook definition of occupation. You have a group of people that are segregated, that have no civilian rights, can't vote, can't leave the strip. They're treated as second-class citizens. Their food, their water, their electricity, all of it is controlled by the Israelis. Okay? So we're talking about millions of people that have absolutely no representation within the government that oppresses them. That is the textbook definition of occupation, you You literally are a smooth-brained, window-licking, chimp monkey because quite literally, the definition of occupation is like a custom-made glove for the Palestinian experience. When people talk about occupation, the number one example they use is what's going on in Israel. So they are occupying it. And not only do they occupy the Palestinians, they also occupy the Golan Heights. They flirted with occupying southern Lebanon. They used to occupy the Sinai Peninsula until the Camp David Accords in the 1970s. Don't me, dude. Okay? I destroy Zionists like you all day. So don't come in my chat and say I'm a Muslim Brotherhood supporter. What does that have to do with my arguments that Palestinians are being occupied, dumb? The entire international community agrees with this. I'm going to give you one chance to respond to this because you're an idiot. But the reason why I'm calling you out right now and cooking you is because this is the Zionist talking point, so I got to make an example out of your dumb. Now, again, I'm going to ask you, how am I wrong? Come on, time's ticking, buddy. Time's ticking. Remo Agreement? Okay, this is what this idiot's talking about. Remo Agreement, or resolution of April 1920, was a pivotal post-World War I decision by Allied powers to divide former Ottoman territories in the Middle East, beginning assigning mandates for Syria, Lebanon, blah, 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 under the League of Nations, while also affirming the Balfour Declaration for national home in Palestine, setting the stage for future state borders and conflicts, that formalized the mandate system, establishing British and French control until population could self-govern and legally recognize ties to Palestine, influencing the region's political map and laying groundwork for Israel's creation. Okay. So where here does it say they can occupy the indigenous people? All this is merely stating is that you have a right to the land. Now, here's the other thing, too. See, this is why you Zionists are stupid. They're talking about Mizrahi, the Arabs that are from that part, from the Levant. Not people like Benjamin Netanyahu or Jabrinsky or Trotsky or Golda Meir or Ben Gurion, these famous Russian, Ukrainian, Polish, Eastern European Ashkenazi. See, and see, you think you're smart, but you're not. You think you're smart, but you're not. There are multiple types of the Mizrahi, aka the Arab, are from that land. But where in this agreement does it say, oh, you guys have sole right to the land? Where does it say that? Dumb snigger, bro. Anyway, yeah, no, as people are saying, yo, Myron, ignore this guy. No, but see, here's the thing, though. This is like an education for the rest of you guys, because now you guys know what they say. Coming with weak arguments like that. You got your nigga. Enjoy.